Hi, I'm Colin and welcome to How to Paint Watercolours. So if you're ready, we'll get started and we'll paint this one. I'm just taking some of the permanent yellow light and moving it to the centre. Taking my Deerfoot oil brush again, or you can get an oil painting brush and just break it open. So we can begin to put some lovely light areas in on these bushes. I'm just going to add just a little crimson lake to that. Just to start to darken the interior. So I'm going to add a little burnt umber into that and a little French ultramarine, just a little the crimson lake. It's still wet, so it's merging together some of these colours, which is what I want it to do. Add some more French ultramarine to that. Just drop this in. We can leave that for the moment to come to the other side. Clean the palette out. And I'm just going to take some more permanent yellow light, quite strong, some of the French ultramarine to make this stronger, and a little stronger with the permanent crimson lake. And also we'll just strengthen up the burnt umber. That's just to thicken it. Taking some of our yellow green, and I'm going to darken it. Adding a little burnt umber to it. These big bushes and trees on the side here. Just dropping in some of the yellow in just speckles, just on the outer tips. Just helping to bring it forward and adding interest. Into that I'm going to add some raw umber. To clean that again. Just taking a little of the permanent yellow again. Touch of the crimson lake. Just adding a little bit of fire to some of this. Some French ultramarine. Add that to that, and then we can begin to just darken the interior. Helps to separate the bushes out. So you can see I'm just carving a bush out there. Soften the bottom of that off. Just taking some more. Just give it a little red tinge. I've just brought in some yellow orange. Just adding it to these trees now that they're dry. I'll add some onto these two trees here just to change them up slightly. Mixing it with the permanent yellow. into that. Just mixing the colours together to get different shades, different tones. A little bit of green in some of this. Too much on the brush. Even in autumns, before the leaves all go brown and orange, there's always a little bit of greenery. A bit of raw umber into that. Adding some ultramarine into it, a nice dark colour. Just to add some depth into the undergrowth where the tree's in real deep shadow. Add some round here. I'm going to take a damp brush now and just soften this off into this bank area here. Some of the yellow into it. I'm just creating some light and some dark. All nicely wet into wet, dropping in some deep shadows here. French ultramarine, or ultramarine and burnt umber. Then I'm going to let that dry. Now that's all nice and dry, I'm just taking some of the permanent yellow light. I've just added a little bit to it, but I'm just showing you what I'm doing. I'm just restating some of this, and the paint is quite thick, so it will stand out a little better. Like I said before, it can be sometimes like layering a cake. If you're enjoying these videos, please click the like button and subscribe. Subscribers are always welcome and it's free. And I'm also going to take some of the yellow orange straight from the palette, and if you pre-wet your colours, they're very juicy. And we're just adding more interest to this all the time, and the dark underwash will show through. Then I'm going to take some of the burnt umber, just add a little in, just helps to flatten it slightly and add a little bit more depth. Burnt umber, some of the French ultramarine. I'll bring up the odd tree trunk into this. Just creating a little shape to the land. Maybe there's a little twiggy brush there. Taking a bit of a damp brush, catch the bottom and just soften it in, bringing it down towards the water area. Just adding more shape to the land, to the ground, and it just helps to define it better. Not too much water on. So sometimes to evaluate new paints you have to be painting with them for a while, so each one for a time being will be a little bit of an experiment. And then I'm just going to leave that to dry. Now that that's dry, just re-wet the whole of your water area and we can begin to strengthen some of this up. Using the last of the French ultramarine, just have a little bit of burnt umber with it and some other colours from mixing, but I'm just going to put it in as it is. Bit of the crimson lake. It's all the colours of the sky really. Take a tiny bit of the Naples yellow along here. touch of the permanent yellow light, some of the cobalt blue, magenta cobalt blue. I don't mind getting green at this point. I'm just removing a little paint here while I put the reflections in, so it doesn't mix too much. Once again, I'm taking my palette. I'm going to take some of the permanent yellow light, just sprinkling this in. A little of the orange. Some of the burnt umber. It's all going wet into wet this, and then it's all slowly merging together. Some of the burnt umber once again, mixed with some of the French ultramarine, and I might just put a little bit of crimson into that. Just come along the bank, just drop a little bank reflection in, not much. Just added more French ultramarine to that to make it a little darker along the bank. A couple of dark strokes in the water. French ultramarine and burnt umber, to give it some deep pools. A little more French ultramarine in it just to bring it back to the blue side. Don't brush no water on it whatsoever, and just pull it into the other colour. You have to work quickly. Leave that to dry. Okay, it's all nice and dry now. I've just scratched in the shoreline with a craft blade and a ruler along here and here, and just put some wind streaks in here. I'm just going to put the last few in. You can see how it's done. They always work well in the dark parts of the reflections. And what I've also done is scraped in some tree trunks and branches just by using the tip of the craft blade. Light grasses in the undergrowth. This is just finishing the picture off. Maybe a couple of birds in the sky, just with a little dark colour. And I'm going to sign this one with some white paint. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please click the like button and consider subscribing. Subscribers are always welcome, and it's completely free. And I will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.